All right, this is a special video for my chart witness followers. The reason why I put up the stock GE is this is a stock I didn't get into. However, one of my followers mentioned it to me, and actually, this stock here was on my power popper list. I just dismissed it, and I'm not going to be dismissing these power poppers anymore. Um, because in theory, I was alerted. I would okay. Again, this new power popper list I came up with, which has been really huge. There were so many other winners like Tesla. I was focused. My mind was focused on so many things, but boy oh boy, that this GE was one of the biggest winners, I think, of the week. If you ask me, you think, well, big deal, yeah, but you know what? A little stock moving to 28.51 is a huge move. These are actually amazing. I never would have assumed, and that's another thing. Never assume that this would have popped like this. But the pattern was good. I mean, uh, this popped exactly what the pattern suggested it could pop to. But look at it. You don't need to hold options very long. As let's say this was the entry day, by the way. In other words, the entry was 25.50, and the thing is, this stock here, it confirmed late in the day. Sometimes they convert late in the day. 25. It confirmed at 25 and a half around 2:30 GE. But well, what I'm getting at is that when I'm giving numbers, right, one of the things you want to look for is how is the stock acting? Is the volume coming in? Because when they kind of act weak, you always it's better to pay the higher price for the proof of power. I mean, understand this. Look at Tesla, right? Let's think about this. TSLA. And Tesla gave us Tesla opened up at 197.97. Okay. I talked about going. I went into 200 calls. Now the problem was is that the plan I had was that this needed to get above the 194 area. Well, Tesla, what did it do? It not only did it break above my buy point. What's the lesson here? But not only did it break above my point, it did so on heavy volume. It went way above it, and it was bullet. Look at it. Just look at what happened there, right? The low one, the stock barely gave back any gains. It just went straight up. I mean, this was a huge winner. Not, believe it or not, not as big a deal as GE. GE, and this is what I'm going to be focused on. GE is a lesson now. So, but I could have caught the damn thing. Um, so I'm going to be more open-minded, and I'm going to be explaining. And why am I telling you guys this? Well, because when you see my trigger numbers, if you see a stock going above my trigger numbers and doing so in heavy volume, that's a really bullish sign. Okay, that's the lesson here to learn. We can learn from the stocks we miss. Why? And in GE, GE was really the super winner of the you know, Apple, didn't pay. This like GE people, GE paid huge, right? So I'm going to be paying attention now. You're going to see in my next update stocks that I think can make a power pop, right? And you know what? You know how you're going to know? Look for that damn volume and price power, man. If you see the stock kind of wimpy, sometimes you know what some things are gonna move still. But if you don't get a good feel of it, if you either try to pay a little higher, that saves my ass more often. And I'll give you an example, people. NKE. I talked about NKE, and it was actually trying to trade, and it was actually in the trigger zone, but the volume and the way it was going there, I decided to pay up higher. And you want to know something? I looked at my charts, and I see that I said, you know what? If it can pop a gain above the thing, and it couldn't, and then they just slowly. So now it's lower. And again, we need to look for the power pop. This thing needs to pop, and if it doesn't show the power, man, you, You're just losing time holding, waiting, praying for with up. You can tell. There's a feel to this. Just what I'm getting at is you got to look at things like WYN, right? I mean, what did Win do? I talked about a 130. Was it what? Yeah, 132 to 133. The stock popped up more, right? Now this thing wasn't as smooth. I mean, but it's still holding up. I think we're gonna get a pop on Monday on this sucker. Hopefully, anyways. It should, anyways. But this stock, again, this kind of disappointed me. I mean, it did fine, but it's a disappointment to me compared to something like a GE, because it was for me. I'd make way more money in GE. But this is how it goes. I dismissed the GE trade, and GE was, what my opinion. I'm telling you, based on how I look at stuff, my opinion, this was better. So I'm going to be paying attention. I know exactly this came into my Power Visionary line scan. But the thing about GE was it took a few days before it triggered, and it did it later on in the day. But you know what? This stock trade alone was if you caught one of these suckers, this is called a super popper, right? If you catch just one of these suckers, that's all you need. You don't need a million fucking trades. Look at this. Look at how good this trade was. I mean, this was so easy. This was just so smooth. This is what I like. I don't like games. Who wants to be in the games? So one of the biggest part of my system is looking for the power and repression we go long, right? Apple, has it been easy? No, because it's in a chop zone. It's good. There's some good things. I think I'm going to talk about the Apple trade, but there's something about price power. Like Apple, like it worked. We had a trade, it popped, right? But it didn't pay like GE did, right? And that's what we got to learn, people. Like you got to learn this volume and power and pressure, and like learn from study GE, like learn what GE did, learn what Win did, learn like Tesla did. Lulu was another one I mentioned, right? That I liked as well, and it was a pretty smooth trade. It triggered on this day over here. It triggered on this day over here. I never mentioned this. See, I discounted it, and then I watch it, and not a big deal, but percentage-wise on an option, depending on what you buy, that move was about 100%. I mean, again, nothing like the GE trade, but this thing had what it took to be a popper. I mean, and it's a winner, and it was smooth, right? All these, what do these all have? Oh, Baidu, another one, by the way, people. Baidu, BIDU. What do they all have in pop? Okay, this triggered on this day here, people. Based on my new thing, the way I look at stuff, the old way of me doing things wouldn't be the same. That's the breakthrough. But it triggered on this day. The buy point was around, and if I can look at this happened in around 2:30 in the afternoon. That I was, where I entered anyhow. Yeah, the triggering area was in this 210, 211, 213 area. But the thing is that it made its huge move. And if one wanted to take profits, I mean that was a huge move. And then of course, if you're holding runners, if you don't like the movement, a person could have taken profits. I mean, I just took profits in this because I didn't. This isn't the setup like, but gee, again, out of all these setups, people, why am I upset? And I mean, one of my followers made me aware of this, GE. But what we can learn about GE is this: don't discount a pattern. I'm going to maybe refer to, I don't know, GE. I'm going to make a statement. What I think. I think if something's going to be a power popper, I'm going to write power popper, possible power popper on the chart, right? What that means, and then the targets. So what that means is you want to always go for expectation of targets. This thing here was super smooth. Look at this. I mean, you can look at the intraday charts, but this one worked properly. And you know something? This is better than any Apple trade. That we've had, right? So there's something to learn, people. Look at the volume. look at these power poppers, because what I'm going to be sending is those ideas. But now the super chart witness followers, I'm gonna make that. The reason why is I need people to become who gonna make more like the people who want to become super chart witness followers. They you want to make more comments, and you want to do and you want to maybe I gotta think of something unique. Because I want my stream to explode, and I mean, this chart witness follower thing is it's going, it's not going as fast as I anticipated. It's doing very well, but and it could be, some of it's my fault because I haven't been, we haven't had a lot of winners. So we've had winners, but I mean, I think we would, like, this week here was a super week. Yet the thing was is that there wasn't a lot of what's the word? My focus was on other that were missed. So I have to make a bigger list when I see it, anyways. And again, when they don't want to confirm, like I've been putting out stuff, it doesn't confirm. You know what? You just leave it alone. It's on your watch list, right? When they confirm, it's going to be so easy to see. Confirming stocks really show power, price power, and volume. That's what GE did, people. That's what GE did. It's something to learn, because this was of all the stock ideas, and this one would have come up. This one came up on my scan. But it doesn't matter, because it's going to be more like a GE moves. The key is to plan for them, and if they happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. That's why you're looking for the trigger numbers, but it pays. When they want to trigger, you get excited. Like, honestly, if we were prepared for this, okay, I would have held this. I would want to hold into the 2028 area. This was one of these. This is the kind of, this stock here is not like a Baidu setup or a Lululemon setup. The Lulu was more like where it went. It was more to pop into the 70 area max. Where is the Lulu? Let me put up the Lulu. It's not the same setup as it's a popper. Lulu was a popper, but not the same. I would have expected this to be a $3-4 popper, but that's not as big a deal as a GE, because GE, it popped a lot more theoretically because of the smaller stock. This is a huge move. This was the hugest, and this is the funny thing about it, is that GE was my system detected this, and the move came about, was it 1? The system detected this here. Of course, it doesn't, like HSY, they pull them back a little bit, and then boom. And the volume was really good. Look at, see the 60. You could see 60 million. This is huge volume, but it took till the afternoon, and then look at this, and then a follow through, huge. And the pattern said this. So I can't stress enough to study GE and what real, not that the volume has to be this high all the time, but what I'm getting at is that there's a price action, the way this acted towards the 2550 area. And it was very clear. Just like Tesla was very clear, it went way above my buy point, right? Look at Nike. When it got to the buy areas, right, it got there weak, or the volume was weak. It didn't have that thrusting power. Sometimes you have to pay more than the actual price I'm saying, and it doesn't matter, because it actually means it's more likely to work than not. That's what you can learn. Every single idea I had this week, that had to, even if you had to buy above the buy. Now GE, you did not have to, but if you had to, they had a good price pressure, or they went above the buy points, and they showed volume and power, and boom, they went. And then if they pull back too much, what do? You take small profits, and you move on. But you try to hold on for the big moves. My key is you got to try to hold for the big moves. Anyway, this is a long-winded video, but it's really important, because I think this will help a lot of people understand, whether to take a trade or not. You want to look for there's a lesson to be learned from GE. If I can only if there's something to say to you, most people look at this and say big deal. I look at this and I want to learn from this because I discounted it. I'm not gonna be discounting this stuff again. No way. Not with my new visionary line scan that I have come up with. It's GE. GE would be in there. Don't discount ideas. That's my point. If I say something, just remember that you got to look for the volume and the power, and there's a feel to it. You gotta look. You have to look. Remember when they trigger. Why did they trigger? That's gonna help you understand what to do. That's the feeling. There's a feeling to this, sort of a feeling to it. There's something to it, right? But I give the reason why the trigger numbers are there is to prevent us from getting into something that's not going to go anywhere. 'Cause sometimes they don't go, people. But my visionary, my new scan thing, I think that when if they want to hit my numbers, and remember, that's why we use the volume because Nike, Nike could not confirm the right way, and look where look where it went, right? So it doesn't matter what options you have; you're still losing money. Thanks for listening. Like the video.